Hey sellers, so you got a contract. Now, what are some of the things that buyers should be adding into their contracts in a seller's market? What are some of the things that you should look for to know what type of contract you should accept? So let's get into that. In a seller's market, buyers are doing everything they possibly can to win your house, okay? So here's the top 3 things that we're seeing in today's market, particularly here in Nashville, Tennessee, that you should be looking for or expecting in a contract. The first thing you should look for is what's called an as-is inspection. The buyer is going to do their inspections per usual, but what they're going to say to you is, hey seller, you don't have to make any repairs that we may have found because we're going to take this home as is, okay? And so this is a way for a buyer to still do their due diligence, and if they don't find anything that is really concerning to them, then they can move forward as taking the property as is, and the seller does not have to make any repairs. Or if they do find something concerning, then they have the option to just terminate the contract and go find another home. So that's called an as-is inspection. You should be looking for that in competitive contracts from buyers. The second condition you should look for in a contract is what we call an appraisal gap, okay? So appraisal difference. So what that means is, if your home is listed for $450,000, it's a beautiful home, and someone offers $500,000 for it, and we think that the home will only appraise at that $450,000 price, then the buyer is going to say, hey seller, I'm willing to make sure that we get to $500,000, so I'm going to pay the difference, okay, from that appraisal. And that's called the appraisal gap. And so that difference could be paid out of pocket by the buyer at closing. And I've seen appraisal differences paid from $5,000 all the way up to $25,000 or even more. And so if you're getting significantly higher than your list price in a contract, you want to look to see if that buyer is offering to pay the appraisal, to pay the difference if there is a shortage in the appraisal, okay? The third condition you might want to look for in a seller's market in your contract is a temporary occupancy post-closing. What this means for a seller is that once you close on the property, the buyer is going to allow you to stay in the property for just a little bit longer so that maybe you can close on your next home, move your things out, or transition into your next property. And so we call this temporary occupancy for a seller post-closing. And a lot of buyers are putting this into their contracts, to give a little bit of an incentive to the seller to say, hey, once you close, you can stay in the house for another, 2 weeks, maybe even up to a month, in order for you to then settle and close on your next house. So those are 3 things that we're seeing as commonplace as some contingencies that people are putting in their contracts in order to win a house. If you have any other questions, please leave me a comment below or send me a DM, and I'm happy to consult with you.